Baltimore Ravens 7-round mock draft. No trades. Here we go. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTB Ravens Media. Now, the first thing that you might notice is I'm wearing a baseball jersey. I am an Atlanta Braves fan. I had to switch it up. Okay, we're 0-4, switching it up. We're playing the Dodgers tonight. I know the Orioles are doing good, so I know most of you are probably Orioles fans. I'm not from Baltimore. I'm from Portland. So, we don't got – I'm fans of teams all across the country, unfortunately. But go Braves. Go Orioles as well. That's my second favorite team. But switching it up. So that's why I'm wearing the Braves stuff. But outside of that, talking about the Baltimore Ravens and their mock draft, I'm very excited for this one. We only have 3 more mock drafts after this before the NFL draft. It's in about 24 days. A lot of things can still change. We've made some key free agent signings. We've made some, re-signings that I've been very, very happy with. But one of the biggest things that I'm most excited about is seeing what direction we go. Because there's a chance that we go out there and we draft, we do what fans are, wanting, right? And we go edge, and then we go corner, and then we go corner, and then we go O-line, or something of that nature. Or we could go out there and we can do what the Ravens do best, right? Best player available. And we're looking at in the 4th round, and we're like, okay, we've drafted a receiver, a running back, and a safety, and maybe a D lineman. And you're like, wait, what the heck just happened? Right? That's how the Ravens do it. So when I do these mock drafts, right, this is my pick. This is not a prediction of what I think the Ravens would do. This is what I would do if my name was Eric DeCosta and I was the general manager of the Baltimore Ravens. Let's jump right into it, though. I might go a little bit quicker on the second half of these picks just because, again, we have so many picks. I've talked about a lot of these guys so many times. But starting off round 1, pick 27, I went with Darius Alexander. If you guys don't know this about me, I've only talked about him, I think, in one video. Darius Alexander has become one of my favorite prospects in this entire class. He is a monster. Now, I understand that he's coming into the NFL and he's going to be a little bit older. I think he'll turn 25 during his rookie season, which is old. Don't get me wrong, that is old. But when I'm looking at it from the perspective of the Baltimore Ravens, right, we don't re-sign pass rushers anyway, right? The only pass rushers we re-signed that have been good, right? We've re-signed depth players. Not saying that they're not good, but star pass rushers. The only one we've re-signed is Justin Madubuike. Nnamdi Madubuike now, but that's the only one that we've re-signed. So this idea that they'll leave when they're entering their prime, it's they were already going to leave, unfortunately. So having him be 25 in his rookie season doesn't carry the same downside it might if I was a fan of a different team that maybe, the Cowboys, they try and re-sign everybody, right? They might care if he's a little bit younger. But the Ravens, we don't necessarily re-sign a ton of players, right? We utilize the comp pick strategy. We don't overpay and all of that stuff. But Darius Alexander, he's being kind of molded by a lot of fans into something that I don't think he is. I think this guy is a 3 or 5 tech that can play all 3 downs in the NFL. But a lot of people are saying that they think he's just an inside guy, or some people are thinking he's just an outside guy. But when I watched him at Toledo, I saw him and I was like, okay, this is a 3-4 DN that is an absolute playmaker. Okay. Dominant against the run, throws blockers off, will make good tackles, goes for the play, right? High effort, high energy. And then also in the pass rush, right? He does have moves. Okay. They're based on his strength, right? He has a rip through move. He has a chop. He's not going to hit you with a spin or anything like that, but he's going to get by you. Okay. That's rare for a defensive lineman at his size to run a sub-5 40-yard dash and then have the pass rush moves and strength that he does possess. Okay. And him next to Madubuike is one of the most formidable fronts that you could possibly imagine in the NFL. Just 2 guys that can both stop the run very well and then also be very good pass rushers. And having him and Travis Jones and Madubuike all out there, you can put them all out there, right? You can put Travis Jones at 3 tech, Madubuike at 3 tech, and then throw Darius Alexander at 5 tech. Or if you want, you can throw Madubuike at 5 tech and put Darius Alexander at 3 tech, okay? Darius Alexander is not a 1 tech, okay? He's not your Michael Pierce. He's not your Brandon Williams, that sort of type. But he's a dominant defensive lineman that will bring a productive pass rush to the NFL level, okay? That's what the Ravens need, right? We don't necessarily, yes, could an edge work? Yeah. But I've gone on the record, and I'll say it again. I don't like James Pierce. I don't think he'll be productive right away. I think he could develop and he could become, a good pass rusher, but I just don't think he'll be a pass rusher right away. I think he will take time. I think Scorton will take time as a pass rusher. And for the Ravens, we've got our guy that took time, and it's Odafe Oweh, and he put up 10 sacks last year. Drafting another one when we need current help, that's not what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to get a guy that can play right away. Darius Alexander can absolutely do that. And for the defensive lineman, the only one that I would take above him that could potentially be available at 27, I'd take Azaraku. I think he's a terrific pass rusher. He'll play right away. Maybe a Michael Williams, if he does fall, I think I would take. But those are kind of the only two names that I think I've seen mocked around that area. Like maybe a Mike Green, but I don't think he falls. I would take Mike Green as well. But, those are really the only players I'm taking over Darius Alexander for pass rush. Now, round 2, pick 59, this was somebody I actually contemplated taking in round 1. And that was Demetrius Knight Jr., linebacker out of South Carolina. He's one of the best linebackers in the class, if not the best linebacker. And when I look at what the Ravens have with their team, right? Yes, we have players that can play will, but we don't necessarily have somebody that we're confident will be the will linebacker this year, the entire year. Now, the hope is Trenton Simpson, right? Last year, we tried Trenton Simpson. He wasn't awful, but we felt like we wanted a little bit more expertise. So we put in like Chris Board, and we tried, we had a game, I think, where Christian Welch was playing a fair bit of snaps, right? We tried to mix it up. Malik Harrison was going there. Malik Harrison is now gone. But Demetrius Knight Jr. paired with Roquan Smith would give us a lot of stability. And this isn't saying Trenton Simpson wouldn't play, right? He would just be the third linebacker, the rotational piece, the guy that you can throw at Sam, right? Remember when you watched him at Clemson, he played all over. He played at safety. He played in the slot. Not saying we want to put him there, but you can put him at Sam, right? If guys need rest, you can put him out wide, right? Different fronts, you can utilize him. But I think that Demetrius Knight, I don't think he'll be available at 59, but this was a best player available strategy that I went with. I was like, he's too good to pass up. And so I did go with him. Next up, I went with a third defensive player in the row. Who am I? The Panthers in, 2021? I think they took 7 or 9 defensive players. Only defense is what they drafted. Feels what I am right now. Don't worry, I do take offense. But I went with Andrew Makuba. Makuba is the best value safety in this draft. He might be the best safety day one. Like, that's how confident I am in Andrew Makuba. He is a star player. And I'm not fully confident in why. Like, I can't give you a reason as to why this guy's seen as a third-round player. Like, this is an early 2, maybe late first-round player that I would give a draft grade on, Andrew Makuba. He can play over the top. He can play underneath. Big-time playmaker. I believe he was the one that had the game-winning interception against Arizona State in the college football playoff. Like, this guy's a stud. Multiple-year starter at Texas. Very, very good ball skills. Good instincts. Not necessarily a dominant tackler, but he's a coverage safety. And pairing him with Ardarius Washington, who I think will be back, like having that 3-safety rotation is exactly what I'm looking for. He's like what we hoped Marcus Williams would be, and it's like he's just not. Makuba, I think, would be the perfect coverage safety that the Ravens could bring in, and he could be a playmaker right away, get us some turnovers, hopefully in the postseason as well. Big fan of Makuba, one of the best players in this draft class, one of the most underrated players as well. Next up, round 4, pick 129. I did say I'd go offense, and I went with the wide receiver, and there were a couple of guys on the board. Kyle Williams was on the board. I want to bring that up, and I considered it. But I think I like this guy a little bit more, and that's Torrey Horton out of Colorado State. Bigger wide receiver, bigger frame, not a deep ball guy, not a crazy yak guy, can, break some tackles after the catch. He's an intermediate pass catcher. He has the speed, right? He has the athleticism to be an NFL intermediate pass catcher. This isn't a guy that's, he's a 4.7 40, but like he can catch it over. No, he can run you an out route. He can run you a slant. He can run an in route. He can run a dig. He can run a hook, right? All these things. He can run a post. You could throw it to him in any situation. He can run block, and he has the exact size that you're looking for in the NFL. And I think that drafting him and having him be our wide receiver 4 or 5, depending on him and Tylan Wallace and Devontae Walker competition. But he's the exact guy where I would look at and be like, learn from Nook, learn from DeAndre Hopkins. Because with what Torrey Horton does, it's very similar to, I think, how we'll utilize DeAndre Hopkins in this upcoming year. Having Torrey Horton learn from one of the best wide receivers of this generation, who is a very, again, not like super similar, because it's hard to compare someone to a prime DeAndre Hopkins, right? Best receiver in the league at one point, with some of the best hands we've ever seen in the NFL. But the routes that DeAndre Hopkins would run, that's kind of what I see from Torrey Horton at Colorado State and what he could bring to the NFL. Learning from him would be a great thing for the Ravens. And he can play right away. This is a guy that, like, yeah, you can put him out there and you're not going to be in trouble. Next up, round 4, pick 136. I went with Luke Kandra out of Cincinnati. 0 sacks allowed last year. I think we need guard depth. I think we need guard competition. And he does bring that. I've drafted him plenty of times before. You guys know him. I don't want to spend too much time talking about the O-lineman, but I think we do got to go interior. And then we do have to go for depth on the O-line. And so I went with him. Next up, round 5, pick 176, our only round 5 pick. I went with Roger Longerbeam, a cornerback out of Rutgers. This is somebody that, I haven't watched too much on him, but we need corners. And this is a man coverage corner. He is a coverage corner. He's not a big tackler, but a man coverage corner that can get you some interceptions, that can get you ball skills. But truly, I drafted him because we need depth. And I draft another cornerback because I draft 2 more cornerbacks. I'm going to say that because if we don't go corner round 1 or round 2 or round 3, right, a guy that can maybe play a little bit sooner, we got to start, grabbing lottery tickets, right? Like, if that's what you want to call it, right? Like Powerball balls, because we need chances that they can be good, chances that one of them can be a cornerback 4 in this first year. So I do take a couple of them. I take 3 of them. Roger Longerbeam is the first one that I take. Man coverage corner, proper size. He played outside. He played in the slot. He played a little bit at safety, but very, very little. He has the skills I think that the Ravens are looking for. And I think he, can really help us out. Next up, round 6, pick 183. Don't you think that just because I took linebacker round 2 means I'm not getting my favorite player in this draft class, Jay Higgins? I drafted Jay Higgins with this pick out of Iowa. He's a linebacker. He's one of the best coverage linebackers in this class. He doesn't have the speed of a Demetrius Knight. He doesn't have the speed of, a Roquan Smith, but he's very smart. Fantastic tackler, terrific leader, and a dominant defense for his, collegiate career. And you see what those defensive players, right, when they came into the NFL, the other stars, right? Who's the star on that defense outside of Jay Higgins? It was Cooper DeJean. And Cooper DeJean, another guy, was like, okay, he's not like the most athletic player. Like he's not lacking athleticism like the way Jay Higgins is. But Cooper DeJean, you could just tell it was like, this guy's a playmaker. Jay Higgins is a playmaker. I think having him on special teams, in the locker room, in the huddle, that's going to be a lot of value. And again, he can cover. And at the linebacker position, that's rare, especially in today's NFL for his size. Next up, round 6, pick 203. I go with Cameron Jackson, D-tackle out of Florida. Not the D-tackle out of Florida most of you were thinking about, not the one that's, I want to say 460 pounds and had a 25-inch vertical. He's not that guy, but he is 6'6", 345 pounds. Very, very big D-tackle. This is the one tech. This is what I brought up earlier. Michael Pierce, retired. Darius Alexander, Justin Madubuike, Nnamdi Madubuike, excuse me, Travis Jones. None of them are one techs. We need a one tech. A one tech, if you don't know, that is a guy that is there that stands over the center and clogs the lane. You typically want them to be very, very large, or at least very, very strong, right? The Michael Pierce, Brandon Williams type. Cameron Jackson, 6'6", 350 pounds. That's what he is. Right? He has the size and athleticism. Like he's athletic for his size to just go out there and be like, okay, his floor is a goal line defensive lineman. I'll take that because we don't have our one tech anymore. So I think he would be the guy that I'd like to replace him with. Next up, round 6, pick 210. I pick a teammate of his, Jason Marshall Jr., Someone that has ball skills. I think he had 5 interceptions, not this most recent year, but the year before that. But a coverage player that can make plays with the ball in the air with really good size and length. The question is, is he going to be able to reproduce his statistics from 2 seasons ago? Last year, he wasn't nearly as dominant as the player that he was before. But again, I'm taking flyers on corners. We need them, especially if we don't get a star early in the draft. We got to draft a lot of corners. So Jason Marshall is just the next corner in kind of a long list that I'm drafting today. Next up, round 6, pick 212. I went with Oronde Gadsden II, tight end out of Syracuse. Almost blanked on where he went to school. I draft him all the time. I really like his game. Fluid tight end, good hands, athletic enough, prototypical NFL blocking size. Not a blocker yet. Very rare that you find blocking tight ends coming out of college with pass. Like, you either find a blocking tight end coming out of college or you find a receiving tight end and you try and teach them the other thing. When you see him, it's like, wow, this guy's really good at blocking and pass catching. Yeah, that's called Brock Bowers and like their generational prospects, right? It just doesn't happen. So he's a pass catcher. Hopefully you can teach him blocking. The Ravens have been very good at doing that, right? You'll look at Isaiah Likely, how well he's developed as a blocker, and Mark Andrews as well. Both of them were seen as like, these guys can't block in college. Gadsden could come out here next year when we potentially don't have either of those guys, step up and be a backup tight end or starting tight end, depending on how he develops. And then final pick of the draft, the final corner pick of this draft as well. Pick 243, I went with Jabbar Muhammad, one of the most productive college football players over the last couple of seasons, one of the star corners at Oregon. Just a pass breakup monster. He has the length. He has the enough speed to play at the NFL level, but he was a playmaker at Oregon. And Oregon was a dominant defense. They were, one of the best teams in the country each of the last couple of seasons. And I think getting that production, getting that skill set, again, we need bodies at corner, having him in camp, having him learn from Nate, Marlon, TJ. We have a ton of corners, but like not also at the same time, not a lot. Like Jalen Armour Davis is another one. Like that's really all we have. And then we did sign, we signed the guy out of Tennessee. I'm blanking on his name. Cheeto Awuzie. It's like Cowboys, and he has a snack name. Cheeto. That's right. Cheeto Awuzie. We have, like, even though we have Cheeto, who I think is a really good signing as a cornerback 3, we still don't have depth, which is why I drafted so many corners. I'll run through the list one more time. Darius Alexander, Demetrius Knight, Andrew Makuba, Torrey Horton, Luke Kandra, Robert Longerbeam, Jay Higgins, Cameron Jackson, Jason Marshall Jr., Oronde Gadsden II, and then Jabbar Muhammad. Thank you all so much for watching. Subscribe for more, and I'll see all of you again